Hello, welcome back to Telecomando RC. I'm still kind of working on that. Not sure if I still like it or not, but we'll see. I'll have fun with it. So on a previous video, I talked about the weight distribution where I applied some weights on the car. 4 here and 9 down here where the receiver box is. And this was to meet the weight requirement of USGT as well as VTA. Because these cars are very, very light, so you have to bump up the weight in order to make the weight classes. USGT has a weight requirement of a minimum of 1,380 grams, so 1,380. Whereas VTA has a weight requirement of 1,450 grams. And my original setup, so the car when I first built it without the added weights and the body, was under 1,300 grams. So I had to add almost 100 grams just to make it meet USGT. So that being said, there's a variety of things that you can do. When I got my kit, the gentleman that was helping in the shop, I have some shorties, so that's the point of the video. Let's just say you're trying to save some money and you already have some shorties because you used to run a buggy. So this is my shorty for my buggy. Well, he recommended this longer pack for a variety of reasons. One, there's no place really to hold this shorty. You would only have the strap here on top, but then it would slide out, so you need a few modifications. But I'm going to talk about those modifications. I don't mind modifying things. That's part of the fun of the hobby. So he recommended this one, but I decided to go ahead and buy these batteries for a variety of reasons. One, they fit my short course, so I figured why not? Shorties fit your short course as well. But they're slightly lower profile. So if I hold them flush like this, you should be able to see that there's a slight difference in, here, that's probably a better view, in the thickness between them. So this one's thinner, so lower center of gravity. Right? You will always hear people talk about lower center of gravity. Although it's not that much. There's not much weight here on top, so it may make a difference, it may not make a difference, to be honest. There is a possibility it's negligible. But this one fits in perfectly. So this battery just slides in and it goes in there, and then I can just put the strap on here. Now, one of the things that I did is I actually left some of the spacers, so this fits kind of high, and I put those 2 pieces of foam just to help hold the battery down so the battery isn't bouncing up and down. You may decide to take the spacers and then just have the battery on here if you get thinner pieces of foam. I recommend it. It just helps to hold the battery so it's not bouncing off the chassis onto this. But going back to the batteries, this one is heavier, and that's one of the reasons why it was recommended. So this battery over here is 265 grams. So we have the long battery, which is 265 grams. Compared to my old shorty, we'll call it 205 grams. So the question is, should you buy the long pack or the shorty? Well, really, it's up to you. And the reason why I say it's up to you is because it's not that difficult to modify this to fit the shorty. There's actual screws in here, right here. I just put a little piece of foam so that the battery can rest on it. But you can put a little plate from here to there, a little metal plate, just so the battery doesn't hit your spur or your pinion. And that will stop the shorty from sliding in. Then, if you really wanted to, you could get a little piece of copper tubing, place it here, and you can get that at any hardware store. Right, you just remove just the screws here on the bottom, slide the copper tubing, and then screw this back on. And now you have something that will keep your battery from sliding out. And also put a little piece of foam on top of the copper, or this, or a little piece of steel tubing, anything there. You could even drill 2 small little holes, this, tap that, and then put something there. It's up to you. And then this battery is not going to slide left or right, which is what you want. Now, you may be asking, what about front and back? That's the problem. Well, it's not really a problem. You see, like I mentioned, I had to add weights. So I have a total of 4 weights here and 9 weights there. That's a total of 13 weights that I have. So if you think of 13 weights, right? If we do 13 weights and each weight is 7 grams, that means that to this build, I had to add quite a bit of weight. A total of 91 grams. So now you have to add it to this. Now I'm going to ignore the car, the weight of the car and everything, right? We already know it meets USGT weight regulation. We just have to figure out the batteries and the weight we added. So I'm taking this battery with the 13 weights, 7 grams each, 91 grams. So we're going to be adding that to here, right? So this is the bat, and these are the weights. Grams. All right, so the total amount of weight that I had to add to the car, including the battery, so we're counting for the battery, is 356 grams. So I need to figure out how to turn this 205 into 365. And all I have to do is just take the 365, so take 365 minus the 205. That's going to be 161. What am I talking about? It's 151. So anyway, let me just do it here on paper. So I can do it on the bottom. Nope, don't want to. Doing it on top. So 360. 50. Oh, that's where I made the mistake. In my mind, I was thinking 65. All right, minus 205 grams. Right, so you have 151. So 151 grams. That's how much I need. That's how much weight. So if I add 151 grams to this, I'm going to have the same weight here. So how many weights would I need for 151? Well, just take 151. I definitely need more space. Take 151 grams, and you're going to divide this by 7 grams per weight, which will give you, right, grams cancel out, units cancel out. So if you just do 151 divided by 7, you're going to end up with, it's about 21.5, 21.6 weights. Now let's call that 22 weights, because I am not planning on cutting a little weight. So we'll just call this 22 weights total that you're going to need. Well, 22 weights is actually very easy to add to the car with this battery. And that's something that if you're just getting this kit and you want to save some money on not spending, say, $100 on a long pack, you can save it by just using your Shorty Packs and adding weights. And the reason why is because if you look at the way this battery fits, well, actually I'll use this. This battery takes up that entire space. This other battery here does not. So you can actually add weight to the front of the battery. You can add weight to the back of the battery. Or actually, if you face it this way, add it to the front or add it to the rear. And if you actually notice, if I place this right in the middle, I can actually fit a set of weights in the back. I can fit a set of weights in the rear, and they fit perfectly. And then by sticking these weights on the chassis, it'll keep my battery from sliding front and back. The only thing is, you're only going to be able to fit 2 weights, right? Because the chassis is not wide enough. So 2 weights, front and back, right? Front and back. But that is fine, because if you look at this, I'm going to fold this in half. I'm going to fold this guy in half. I've just stacked them 4 up. So that's 4. This is 6. So if I take these, compare them to the battery thickness, I can fit 6 weights going up. So that's a total of 12. So I can fit 12 weights behind and 12 weights in front for a total of 24 weights. But I don't need 24 weights. I only need 22 weights. So that means that you actually have a lot of freedom. You can actually stack all the weights behind the battery and in front of the battery. Or if you put 4 weights up here, as I did, you could even put 4 weights over here. So that's 8 weights. Now you only need 14 weights. You could have 7. It's up to you. You can play with the weight. If you actually use the Shorty Pack, you have a lot of freedom, a lot more freedom to play with the weights. You're just going to need those little modifications. Now, another thing to keep in mind is this is assuming whatever you add here and here is weightless. In reality, it is not. It's going to weigh something, but I don't know how many grams that would be. But let's just say that's 7 grams. You actually only need 21 weights. Maybe it's 16 grams total. You're only going to need 20 grams. And these weights have a higher density per volume, right? It's a higher density, that's what it is, just mass per volume, than a battery. So you're going to be able to choose, if you want your weight bias, where your weight bias is going to be. You can put some on the left side, some on the right side. You can put more density toward the front than toward the rear, so you have more of a front bias or more of a rear bias. It's really up to you. So if you're just getting into USGT and you just bought a kit, or you're just getting into VTA, and let's just say this is going to be your VTA only car. VTA, you're going to need a lot more weight. You would actually need a total of 6 more weights for VTA. You would actually free up a lot of space by just using a Shorty Pack. You're going to have to do more work though. So if you are a hobbyist and you do not mind making modifications, just use your Shorty Packs. Save yourself some money. If you're going all in, or you're like me, you had to buy new batteries anyway, the long ones will work. It's just an easy way, right? So it really is up to you, where do you distribute the weight. Long pack, I have 4 weights in the front. Just remember not to slide these in too far so that you don't hit the belt. Then you can put the other 9 over here. It's up to you. You can also put some down here just underneath the switch, so the switch is sitting on top. Or if you just want to run your shorties, run your shorty and then choose where to go. So other than that, thank you very much for watching. For those of you that are getting your very first kit, I hope this helped in sort of guiding you or giving you other ideas on how to set up, or maybe your budget. Maybe spending an extra $100, $200 on batteries because you're buying multiple was keeping you from going into USGT, but now that you don't have to spend on new batteries because you have your shorties, hopefully this will get you into USGT or VTA. Again, yes, the Shorty Pack is lighter, but the amount of space that you save, you can actually fit the weight that you need and a lot more if you needed, compared to using the long pack. The weight difference isn't really that much compared to the weight that you can add. The only thing that you're going to have to be careful is your bias left, right, front, rear. And we're going to talk about that in another video. For now, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and thank you for watching Telecomando RC. Hit that bell and be good.